Hey bitches.
Hey bitches.
I'm Joey.
I'm Ashley.
And welcome to
One Time
Mystery.
What a mystery.
Well.
Well.
Who do we have here?
Look, it's come crawling back.
Look what the cat dragged in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you again.
It's good for you to let us
Into
your ear holes. Oh, yeah, we're both going into the holes. We're so similar.
We're in sync.
Cycles are synced.
Our cycles are synced, yeah.
Our cycles are synced. Look at us.
We're on the clock.
But it's also our first time recording at night time.
It is. I mean, it's not like late, but it's
not even 7 o'clock.
Yeah, it's nearly 7.
But I asked Joey to shut the door because I keep getting scared by like the side of my headset, thinking someone's there next to me, but there's no one there. It's just me headset.
There might be. You don't know.
See, I can talk about death and stuff. Paranormal? Mm-mm.
No.
That's why I leave that good old stuff up to you.
So, we've been getting a lot of feedback.
A lot. Thank you.
And thank you so much, like positive and negative, and that's what we expect.
Yeah.
One thing that we ask is that you provide us that feedback through our post or through email. We're just trying to increase our engagement with everybody.
Yeah, and so we've got it there, so we remember.
And we can use it to better ourselves because right now I have people coming to me personally and through my personal contact being like, hey, I liked this or I didn't like that. That's fine. Your feedback is valid and we take it on board. However, stop it. So please send it through to our social media, which you can find on Instagram and TikTok by looking for One Time Mysteries, or if you're old like us, send it through in an email to onetimemysteries@gmail.com.
Do it.
And we will do our best to reply.
I reckon we should dive in. Who are you going to talk about today?
Well, funny you ask. Someone long dead. We're going back to the 1800s.
Get out.
Mm-hmm. And guess where we're going?
You sound like you're from London.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Pretty much. Bristol.
Yeah. I think of 1800s. I'm like, London.
Because that's the only place that existed.
Yeah.
in
my mind,
the 1800s.
yes.
Yeah. Well, most of the time when we talk about the 1800s, it is usually to do with the Victorian era, right? And it's normally in the UK. So anyway, picture this.
All right. Because I can do that.
Fuck off. It's not my fault to have a fantasia. I can't picture it. It's not my fault to have a fantasia. Ashley Rose pictured this. Okay. We're in Pile Marsh, Bristol. It's the year 1836.
Oh.
And Amelia Elizabeth Dyer is born.
I like that name.
She was the daughter to Samuel and Sarah Hobley, and she was the youngest of 5, which even in today's standards is still a kind of big family.
Yeah.
So back then, that must have been huge.
I would have thought they would have had big families back then.
No contraception. Maybe. I don't know if it was... I guess it depends whereabouts you were located in the world. Some people would frown upon you for having like more than 2 children. In her lifetime, she would become the mother to Ellen Thomas, Mary Ann Polly Dyer, and William Samuel Dyer. Bum bum.
Oh.
It's fine. Her kids are fine.
Okay.
Well, I just thought I'd be dramatic for you.
Yeah, thank you.
So Amelia and her family grew up pretty modestly. And by modest, I mean, girl, she was poor.
Same.
Sorry about it.
Yeah.
I mean, can relate, right? Even though she was poor, it is reported that her and her siblings went to pretty good schools.
Interesting.
It makes me think that maybe the little money that they did have was going into their education.
Yeah.
Which I kind of think was a little strange around that time, but that is neither here nor there. During her childhood, her mother's health ended up declining due to typhus.
What the fuck is typhus?
Typhus is a disease that you get.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I knew the conversation was coming up.
She's like, I better Google this for Ashley because she don't know shit.
Or maybe I just knew this. I Googled it.
I would have believed you anyway.
Yeah, I didn't know. But typhus can be transmitted when you are bitten by fleas, mites, lice, or ticks that are carrying the rickettsia or the orientia bacteria. And it can make your life a bit of a living hell.
That's really sad because especially if you're poor, that shit gonna be around you everywhere.
Oh, 100%. Well, I mean, the Black Plague and that kind of stuff was from fleas that had bitten the rats and then bitten the humans, which was kind of sad. Apparently, her mental health would end up declining. And due to this, Amelia claimed that they would start getting daily beatings.
By the mother?
Which they apparently never had before.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, now she's Rambo.
Yeah.
18th century Rambo. Which was actually contested by one of their sons who wrote an article in a paper saying that her mental health was never affected by the disease.
Interesting.
So you have one story from Amelia, another story from one of the brothers.
Yeah. Were they all close or?
Well, we'll get into that.
All right.
So from the alleged abuse, the soon-to-be death of her mother around 1849, followed by the death of two of her sisters, Amelia became depressed, apparently.
Yeah.
Though there are no official reports because no one saw like mental health specialists back in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Amelia was 12 when her mother passed away.
Yeah.
And around that same time, she decided to move in with her aunt. I did see conflicting dates of death for her father.
Yeah.
Some say that it was like in 1859 that he died, so 10 years after her mother died.
Yeah.
Other reports had the date of death the same as the mother.
Oh.
So like they both died at the same time, but
Yeah.
I couldn't find anywhere where it was congruent. Like it didn't.
That's annoying.
It was
Yeah.
kind of frustrating because I didn't know what to believe.
Yeah. Like
At that
which
particular
one?
point. Yeah. Funnily enough, you don't actually hear anything about her dad until his death in 1959.
Interesting.
So after the mum dies, nothing, then he dies. Bada bing, bada boom. Her dad, Sam, had a business. Obviously, he ran this before he died. After his death, his son, I believe James, ended up taking over. And the remaining siblings, it said that they helped out. I don't know to what degree.
Yeah.
Amelia would later leave because I think she had some kind of tiff with her brother. And it would actually cause a permanent rift in their relationship forever. So past
Ooh,
that
girl.
point, they never spoke again.
What was the fight about?
I couldn't find anything.
Oh my god.
I know. I was like, drama.
Drama.
18th century tea, honey.
I want to hear that tea.
Give me that tea. Make it piping hot for me. Gross. So gay. When following the fight, she moved into a lodge permanently in 1861 where she would meet George William Thomas.
Oh, fancy name.
Fancy name. Who she would end up marrying.
She married him?
She did. But the gag is,
Oh.
he was much older than her.
Oh, a bit scandalous.
Yeah. She was around 24 at this time.
Yeah.
And he is reported to have been like 59.
I mean, if he was attractive, get a girl.
But also in those days,
Yeah.
I know you could marry younger back then, but Jesus.
Yeah.
Oof. Anyway, because of social stigma, they both decided that they would lie on their paperwork for their marriage certificate. So, what Amelia did is she added some years to her age to get her closer to 30, so it didn't look so bad. And kind of the years that she gained, George lost. So he brought himself down closer to 40.
Yeah.
So that it was more of an appropriate age, and the stigma of them being together with that huge age gap was...
Which is funny that it was an issue back then. Because you kind of think, like to me, my mind goes, not exactly that age, but like marry off to an older man that's more stable and, you know.
Sure, I think there's no issue with an age gap in general. But if you think about it, if she was 25, 50 would be double her age.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And he was double and a bit. So it would have been a little scandalous. So much scandal. I don't mind a bit of scandal, I'm not going to lie. As fascinating as that fact is, unfortunately, it's not backed up by any documentation.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to make sure that these dates line up because she was kind of prolific when it came to lying about her dates.
Yeah.
And stuff. So that date of birth I gave at the very beginning, we don't even know if that was actually the year.
Who knows?
Because she changed it around all the time.
Does what she wants.
Amelia started training as a nurse and a midwife.
Oh.
And you're like, get a girl.
Get girl.
You're helping the people. And we're proud of you.
So proud.
However, she decided to stop doing that when she got pregnant with her first baby.
Oh.
But the way they worded it was that she stopped after she had the baby, not
Yeah.
that she stopped while she was pregnant. And that was her first, Ellen Thomas, which I think is a pretty name for a girl, Ellen. In 1869, George died, her husband,
Oh.
which meant, fuck,
Yeah.
how am I going to make a living now?
Do you at least have some money?
Yeah, I've got a daughter. I need to put food in her mouth, innit?
In it.
How am I going to do that? I don't even know. That's just what I figured she sounded like.
I bet she sounded exactly like that.
She wouldn't have, but... So, she needed to get her an income. She met a midwife named Ellen Dane. Interesting that both of these people, her daughter and this other lady's name was Ellen. It must have been common
Yeah.
at the time. She introduces Amelia to a practice that was quite common during this time. Very common during the Victorian era, even though it too came with its own stigma. A practice called baby farming.
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going with it. I was like, prostitution.
She became a streetwalker.
Well, that's what I thought. But no, that's...
She became a scarlet hussy.
I don't think I like this story anymore.
A dirty strumpet.
I don't want to hear the rest anymore.
I don't think so. Well, what
You say baby farm, and I'm like,
It's not supposed to be that. So the idea behind a baby farm back in the day, it was basically this inn that would take in pregnant mothers
Yeah.
and who didn't want the child.
Yeah.
Take them through the whole birthing procedure, make sure that they're well. They left the baby there, who would then be adopted out to someone else.
Oh.
And then the mothers would go. And it's their own little dirty secret.
Oh, that's not
It was
so bad.
meant to be a good thing.
Yeah.
The problem is the practice came with a stigma that there would be some type of mistreatment of the children.
Yeah. Because if it's like a adoption place at the same time, is that what it is as well? Sorry.
It's supposed to be that.
Yeah.
And there would be fees that people had to pay
Yeah.
to do it. It wasn't a free service.
Yeah.
But there was a different kind of fee structure that people had. So in general, females would only have to pay like a $10 fee. Although £10 or £10 back in that day,
Yeah.
if you looked at it today, that was a few $100s
Yeah, it was a bit.
comparatively, right?
Yeah.
Men, however, would have a few different fees. The most common one would be like a $30 fee to take the child, and there would be a $50 fee on top of that for discretion.
So wait, what do you mean by men? Them just dropping kids off or dropping women off? That
No, it would be men who had an affair, and they were bringing the child in after it had been born.
Yeah.
Because the woman didn't want the child.
Yeah.
He couldn't be a father to a child that wasn't his wife's.
Yeah.
So he had to drop her off.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
$30 to drop the baby off to care for them. That $30 was supposed to mostly go toward feeding the child, clothing the child.
Yeah.
And then the $50 was for the baby farmers to shut their mouths.
Yeah.
Lucrative. So this was done because illegitimate pregnancies were highly stigmatized at the time. There was a huge stigma behind them. And just like nowadays, if one is careless with their deposits, they end up going bankrupt, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just an expense some people don't
Yeah.
need. I know that sounds kind of harsh. There are people out there that can't have children, and that sucks. But there are people out there who were idiots and got pregnant because they were not being careful, and it was illegal to get an abortion.
Yeah.
So
Well,
they kind of
better than harming the baby
Yeah.
or doing, dropping it off somewhere and just letting it die or...
and they believed that what they were doing was in the best interest of the baby.
Ain't nothing wrong with adoption.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong at all.
To me, I'm like, if you know that you can't be a parent, yes, that sucks. Depending on the situation, probably shouldn't have had sex without protection, but at least you're actually doing something good for another family to be able to swoop in and,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I guess during this time, there would have been such a big influx of children and
Yeah.
parents that weren't looking, or people that weren't looking to be parents. So I'm sure a lot of them,
Especially if they're poor, it's just another mouth to feed.
yeah, they can't afford it. So if anything, it would have been the wealthy who couldn't conceive or didn't want to get pregnant that wanted a child that would be able to get them. But I can't imagine
Yeah.
many people would do that.
Yeah.
So she ends up opening her own business, and she used her training as a nurse and a midwife to basically convince parents of unwanted children that hers was the place to go.
Yeah.
I know how to look after children. I am a trained midwife. I've trained medically. I know how to care for these kids. They're in good hands.
Yeah.
Give me your children.
Why do I want to say no?
Because you have a brain and a soul.
Yay.
Before long, business was booming, and she was getting weekly payments.
Yeah.
So apparently it wasn't just $10 as a one-off fee. There were parents who would continuously contribute to the well-being of these children financially.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Amelia ends up taking in more children than she could actually manage due to greed. And instead of turning people away, she came up with a new business plan that would see her pocket more money because it was no longer all going to these infants.
Yeah.
Because why would it?
Yeah.
Fuck, I hate people so much.
Greedy bitch.
This is where things take a bit of a dark turn.
Yeah.
So if you are of a sensitive disposition, maybe you could avert your ears now.
In regards to babies.
In regards to babies, you have been warned.
Okay.
Whether this started intentionally or accidentally, it became a routine. And with the help of Godfrey's cordial, have you ever heard of that?
No.
AKA Mother's Friend, her pockets got fatter and fatter. Mother's Friend was given to babies who were fussy to calm them down.
Is this like a drug?
Trying to explain what it is. So, shut the fuck up.
Okay.
It was hard, I'm sure, being a parent just in general. But Jesus fucking Christ, just wait till you listen what was in this stuff. Ginger. I wish that's where this list ended, because this is the only good thing that's in this thing. Rectified spirits of wine, which is a highly concentrated form of ethanol. Oil of sassafras. Yeah.
Oil of what?
Oil of sassafras.
Sorry, I heard sass and my head went, what?
Yeah, see, I was like, what a cute name. It's used in the production of MDMA.
Oh, far out. Brussels sprout?
Yep. Venice treacle, which is used for the treatment of snake envenomation.
Far out.
And opium.
You ain't calming the baby. You knocking the baby the fuck out.
They were getting the baby high off opiates. So this was probably the only thing she actually spent the money on to give these children.
Yeah.
And not only because it would keep them quiet, but opiates suppress hunger.
I was
So
just thinking that.
in layman's terms, baby not hungry, baby not eat, baby die of starvation.
And not crying because
'Cause it's
he's
high.
calm. Yeah. Oh, far out.
But wait, she only did that until she decided that even those little expenses were too burdensome and found that neglect was too costly.
Oh, boo-hoo.
So she resorted to strangling the infants to save time and expenses, allowing her to pocket the entire fee that was being paid by the parents who no longer wanted the children.
Oh, my heart. My heart hurts.
You should have tried researching this.
No, thank you.
Yeah, it wasn't great. She was able to fly under the radar for quite some time.
She'd be like, oh, they're getting adopted out, and oh, they're doing this.
No. I like the way you're thinking. And in a perfect world, that would be what was happening. But a doctor became a little suspicious because he had to keep going over to the house and providing them with certificates of death. So he had to certify that the baby died.
Oh, so she still reported. Yeah. Oh.
So she was like a little dumb in that part for doing that. I mean, I'm glad she did, but he got suspicious because there are too many babies dying.
Yeah.
Like all of the ones that she was kind of in charge of. So he reported her fat ass to the police. Yeah. And you're probably happy, right? That she got arrested, but you're bummed about the children dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, not as bummed as you will be when you hear about what comes next, because while it's unknown how many children actually died in her care between like 1869 and 1879.
That's a long time as well.
That's 10 years.
Fuck.
And there are some cases I read about where she was handed at least 20 children within like a 2-month span.
Yeah, that's...
But they decided that the appropriate charge for this bitch would be a manslaughter charge.
Just one.
A single manslaughter charge, and she only had to serve 6 months in prison.
That's ridiculous. When probably someone who stole food or something like that was jailed for longer.
So think about that for a second. Pretty much every child that she cared about had died. And I'm sure that was quite a list. And all that asshole got was 6 months in the clink and a single manslaughter charge.
That's ridiculous.
That tells you the price of babies, right? At that time, price of life.
Yeah, means nothing.
6 months.
For God knows how many.
Yeah, can you imagine what you'd be charged with nowadays? But don't worry, apparently the experience almost destroyed her mentally.
Oh, boo-hoo.
And after her release, she tried to get back into nursing, which at first I was like, okay, you fucked up, you went to prison, maybe you made amends, and you just decided that you wouldn't do it anymore. But then, that's kind of not where the story ends, unfortunately. So she ended up claiming that she had mental instabilities and suicidal tendencies, which she would only bring out whenever she needed to disappear mentally.
Did you hear that? That was my eyes rolling into the back of my head.
No.
Oh, I've got mental health issues because I've killed God knows how many babies.
And the impact of the 6 months I did in the slammer really impacted me so negatively. I just can't deal with it. But you see, with her experience as a nurse, she did get first-hand experience with people who were mentally ill.
Yeah.
So she would keep that in her back pocket for when she needed to bring it out later. To be like, I remember how this person acted in this moment. I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
Right about now. Because she is a dog bitch. Apparently there was a suicide attempt, like a half-baked one. But I really hate this bitch, so we're not going to get into it.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
And, by the way, I am not making fun of mental health.
No.
Just to put it out there. But you're going to kill that many babies and claim you have mental health problems, I'm going to call you out. Sorry about it.
If you are making a statement to get out of something, then you are trash.
Yeah, and using mental health as an excuse.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Shit ain't funny.
No, not at all. You'll be glad to hear that she ended up returning to baby farming, but this time she wasn't going to take any chances. So the deaths were no longer being reported. She learnt from the last time when she got
She sounds
arrested.
like she's really rehabilitated herself.
Yeah, it sounds like that, but it's not that at all. She would start to dispose of the bodies herself. But again, over time, people started getting a little suspicious, including the parents of the children who would later come back wanting to reclaim the child that they had left in her care.
Oh, that hurts my soul.
It hurts my heart.
Can I go now? I don't like this anymore.
No, because there's a ghost outside the door and you'll die.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So instead of just putting a stop to her evil activities, she consistently started to relocate and use an alias. Because she knew what she was doing was wrong, but she was making too much money. Why would she stop? Right? She picked up an unknowing accomplice. And you're like, how would the person not know? Well, it was Jane Granny Smith, whom she would not let actually see or witness any of the foul doings that she was committing. She didn't get to see anything. She would, however, get her somehow to help with the disposal of the bodies, I believe.
Okay.
To what degree, I don't know. Was it like packaging them up in an appropriate way for like a send-off? I don't know. Was it actually burying the children? I don't know. There wasn't enough information on there. On March 30th, 1896, a package was found and fished out of the Thames by a bargeman. A package Amelia had dumped but failed to weigh down properly. A package containing the small body of an infant girl who was later identified as Helena Fry.
Oh my God, I love that name.
Yeah, Helena.
That makes me so sad.
Yeah. While they had pretty limited resources at the time, it wasn't hard for them to track the perpetrator down through the evidence. You see, upon analysis, the materials that were used to conceal the body had Mrs. Thomas followed by an address written on the package. Because she's real smart.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of good because then...
It's good for us.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Dumb
good for
bitch.
us that want an ending to the horror. But she's dumb. Now, they didn't have any strong evidence to say that this Mrs. Thomas wasn't anything more than a name found on some discarded rubbish that someone else had used. So they devised a plan. What they would do is they'd get a young woman as a decoy, hoping that she would be able to request the services of this Mrs. Thomas, right? And then they were going to link that service or that business to her. So, expecting a call from the new client, the decoy, Amelia was surprised by detectives waiting on her doorstep. And then on this part I wrote, "Surprise, you big, nasty, bulb-headed bitch."
That was real loud. I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting that.
Because I just hate her so much. So I wrote it in caps too.
I love that.
I was just like, I hate her so much.
That was a nice little pick-me-up. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry I didn't blow out the holes of... The holes? The eardrums. The ear holes.
That's all right.
Of the listeners.
Her home was raided on the 3rd of April. And the police were caught off guard by the stench of human decomp, even though there were no bodies that could be found. So, obviously, the babies were being kept there for an undetermined amount of time before they were being dumped.
Yeah.
Which sounds horrible to refer to it as being dumped. Unfortunately, that's just the nature of what it is.
Facts are facts.
That's right. There was, however, tons of evidence tying her to the crimes, including telegrams regarding adoption agreements, which never happened, pawn tickets for children's clothing, because you see, after she'd kill them, she would sell their clothes to make more money, because she's a really good woman. She's just thrifty. Receipts for advertisements and letters from mothers inquiring about the well-being of their children.
Oh, that's sad.
The children that, unfortunately, she didn't know had passed away. An arrest was made the following day, and during April, 6 more bodies were found in the Thames, disposed in the same manner, using the same materials. Each baby had been strangled by white edging tape, which Amelia would later be quoted as saying was how you could tell that it was one of hers.
Oh my God.
On the 18th of May, 1896, Amelia pled guilty to only one of the charges for murder, and few people came forth to testify against her. The most damning was that of her daughter, Mary. Now, it didn't say that it was Mary, but if you looked at all the evidence, it kind of points to Mary being the one who provided graphic evidence that ensured her mother's conviction. Her daughter, Mary, would also stand trial as an accused accomplice to everything, but charges were later dropped.
Yeah, I was going to say, where are her kids?
Well, she didn't kill them.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, where are her kids? Like, did they know what was going on?
Did she know? Get this. It took the jury less than 5 minutes to unanimously agree that Amelia was guilty.
Good.
Do you want to know what she was charged with?
I don't know. Do I want to know?
Allegedly attributing to the death of 400 plus children.
I was trying really hard not to swear, but get fucked, fuck off.
She died in Newgate Prison London, on or around June 10th, 1896, by hanging. Now, when, even today, I think in places that have like capital punishment, they will ask you for your final words.
Mm-hmm.
Her final words were, "I have nothing to say."
Why the fuck are you talking then?
Yeah, shut up.
Shut your mouth.
If you have nothing to say, bitch, shut your fucking face.
I don't like her. It makes me so angry.
She's really, really disgusting. That's pretty much it.
I have nothing to say. I killed over 400 people. I don't care if they're babies. 400 people. I've got nothing to say.
Yeah,
Bye, Felicia. That's what I got to say.
That's an estimate. They think that if she was operating that entire time, it was more likely to be more than that. But
it'd have to be. 100% would have to be.
That's all they could really pin it on. I do, however, have an interesting factoid.
Oh.
If you'd like.
Yes, please.
So, there's a theory going around. A speculation, if you will. That because she was a murderess alive around the same time as the Jack the Ripper killings, some have suggested that she may have been Jack the Ripper. She had medical training. She obviously didn't care about killing children. And girl, you need to see this bitch's face, honestly.
I'm going to have a look afterwards.
She puts nightmares in.
I can't wait to see.
Yeah, she's gross.
And I'm sure you guys will see when we post the photo.
On Instagram. Yeah, so that's not confirmed. It's just a theory. There are people who have written books about it, and that's just
very interesting, though.
Interesting. It's around the same sort of time.
Get girl.
Get it.
I didn't like that.
I didn't either, but let me tell you why I decided to jump in and do a case that was going to gross me out. It is because of the fact that I just need to toughen the fuck up. When it comes to the crimes that you choose that are quite graphic, I grimace so much. I just need to be able to get to a point where I'm not going to desensitize myself to their feelings. I will never do that. But I need to desensitize myself to the content because this is what we do.
Can I just say, you went from 0 to 1,000 real quick.
You're welcome. I needed to jump right in.
Yeah, girl, you didn't just jump in. You fucking bomb dived into that.
You're so lucky I didn't do my other one.
Oh, yay.
At the risk of sounding controversial, something for me, I kind of feel like something like that happening nowadays would in some ways be worse.
Oh, yeah.
Than it was back then. And I think that it's because we have different options now and life means more.
Yeah.
And we're the woke generation, right?
So woke.
I mean, look, normally I use that ironically and to make fun of people, but we have so many more options nowadays than what they did back then. And life has more meaning. So for me, even though that was tragic and it was disgusting and I wish it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, imagine how many more families would be around.
That's crazy.
Like, that could have been the only child that someone had.
Yeah, like wiping out a generation or whatever.
That's that family tree gone at her hands. So it's really messed up.
Such a bitch.
Such a bitch.
I think I was more surprised that she was able to get back into that service after being caught and sent to jail for doing that. And then she was able to, like, open up another place. I didn't like that, but thank you for teaching me things.
You're so welcome. But that was the story of Amelia Arseface Dyer. And you will see her face and you'll be like, oh, that is the face
arse
of a...
face.
That's a booty face.
That's an arse face
That
if I ever
is an
seen one.
arse face.
Farting out her mouth.
Yeah. Do you know I was originally going to call her Amelia... Bye bye, baby.
Oh my
Dyer.
God. You can't do that.
I can't do it.
No.
Remember, you're my baby when...
Oh my God, no.
Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed. You kind of look mortified.
Yeah, it was not what I was expecting for you to go to squeamish to 400 plus dead babies, but hey. You did good, kid.
You did good, kid. Good on ya. Well,
All right.
Thank you so much. Please don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, search for One Time Mysteries, and then send us an email at onetimemysteries@gmail.com because we're needy and we need it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.